blessed are those that stick to a budget like white on rice and stink on a monkey.
Welcome back to the Church Planning and Money Show. I'm Peyton Jones, your host, and my co-host is Kurt Blake today, who's wearing blue. And our topic today is going to be sticking to your budget like white on rice, like stink on a monkey.
Yeah, exactly. We've been talking about the Beattitudes of budgeting. The first Beatitude was, blessed are the flexible. We talked about the 100, the 80, and the 120% budget. Second one was, blessed are those who could read a basic spreadsheet. And this one is, blessed are those that stick to a budget like white on rice and stink on a monkey.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Hey, something that I'm passionate about is getting church planters away from what God called them to do and just focusing on numbers, right? No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely
totally.
not. No.
That's my favorite time in ministry.
What I try to do when I have this conversation with church planters is say, you know what? Forget about what you heard, the percentages you're supposed to spend on housing and how much you're supposed to spend on staffing and salary expense and all that. Throw that out. Reorient yourself so that when you think about your budget, you think about your mission and vision. Most of you are from a context where you served in a larger church, probably as a youth pastor, associate pastor, maybe a worship leader, something like that. And oftentimes in those contexts, somebody will come to you and say, hey, here's your budget for the year. We gave you the $12,000 we gave you last year plus, 5% more. Here's your budget. That's what you kind of have to spend. What we want to do is we want to take that normal church budgeting paradigm and flip it on its head. We want to associate all of the expenses of a ministry with the mission and vision, the unique reason that God called your ministry into existence, okay? So right now it might be hard to think about this, but there are going to be people who come to your church for a decade that are going to drive past other churches every Sunday to come to your church. And the reason why is because the way that you incarnate the gospel in your context is different than the First Baptist church that they drove past and the Assemblies of God church that they drove past. There's something about your church that God has called into existence, right? And it centers around this idea of mission and vision. So all that time you spent in assessment as you were coaching up your core team, doing all that initial training, that was for this reason, so that when you develop your budget, you can say, we're not spending $250 a month on pizza parties. What we're doing is we're spending money on pizza because we believe in discipling young people with the good news of Jesus Christ and training them up in righteousness, right? So you got to kind of sort of reorient your thinking as it relates to money and budgeting.
So really it's about seeing money as kind of like a tool that fuels vision and mission. Exactly.
Too often I'll talk to a church planter and the last time that they touched their budget was when they went through assessment, right? They're just like, oh, that was the thing I had to do to get the funding from the network or from the denomination or whoever's kind of providing the money, right? What we want to do is we want to take that and say, no. A budget is not a necessary evil. It's a useful tool to help you and your ministry leaders incarnate that mission and vision in your specific context.
That's cool. So it's kind of like when, you read where Jesus says, hey, go tell this guy the master has need of your donkey, right? The master has need of your budget, and you're going to need to know how to work it. But if you're going to accomplish all that God wants you to accomplish, you're going to have to stick to it. Anything else to say on that?
Yeah, it's just, it's the case that when a ministry is called into existence and it exists for a while, we get these financial sacred cows, right? You've probably heard the phrase, well, we're doing it that way because that's the way we've always done it, right? Well, with this approach, every year when you go back to your budget, you start at square one. There are no sacred cows. You kill all the sacred cows. Everything gets zero funding until it's justified from a mission and vision perspective.
I dig that. Well, guys, if you want to go ahead and head on over to eccu.org/churchplant, you're going to find a lot more tools and tips on how to stick to a budget and track all year long with it.